Hello, and welcome to another Rightly Witterings. This, you'll be delighted to know, is take 3. Take 1 was quite interesting, except I kept forgetting what I was talking about. So my son told me to go away, because I have a new director here, a son director. Take 2 was much better, because I followed his advice when he told me to make some notes. I have notes, and I spoke for almost 10 minutes, very interestingly, until we realised the camera wasn't recording because SD card was full. So let's try again. Hello, welcome to Rightly Witterings. My name's Michael Jex, and this is the latest in my series on inspirational authors. And today, I am talking about an inspirational author who wrote a book back in 1968 that really was the precursor to most of modern science fiction. When I say that Arthur C. Clarke said, "This is unique amongst science fiction novels. I know nothing comparable to it except The Lord of the Rings." If Arthur C. Clarke is going to say something like that, you know it's going to be a good read. So, what is the book? Who's the author? The book I'm going to talk about mostly is this, Dune by Frank Herbert, because I think he is a very inspirational author, because he's produced here not just a planet and a world, he's produced an entire universe with a political system, a religious system, an imperial and colonial system that is, I don't know if it was the very first book of this type, I think it probably was, but it's entirely compelling. Just like The Lord of the Rings, it drags you straight into it. And all those people who have been watching Game of Thrones and enjoying the politics and all other aspects of those stories, if you like Game of Thrones, you will love Dune. So what is Dune? The whole of this story starts out with one political unit, which is the Atreides family, being given control of a planet called Arrakis. Why is that important? It's important because Arrakis is the one place in the universe where spice can be mined, and spice is the fuel for all interplanetary travel. So spice being the source of interplanetary travel, the planet, the sole place in the universe where it can be found, that is obviously vital. So the house that controls Arrakis controls space flight, and to a large extent that means they could control the Empire, the Padishah Empire. In the past, Arrakis has been run by the Harkonnen family for the last 80 years, but they've just lost their control of spice because the Emperor is not impressed with the way they've been running things on the planet. There's a belief that the system of collection of spice is falling down. So therefore it's being given to the Atreides family so that they can motivate the miners and get more spice out of the planet. All so straightforward. However, in the second chapter it explains, by going to a conference in the Harkonnen family, how it is that they've managed to infiltrate the Atreides family, and the plan is that as soon as the Atreides take over the planet, the Harkonnen are going to implement a plan to kill off all of the Atreides family, destroy their line, and then take over the planet again. So politics. But this is all about, as it says regularly through the book, plans within plans within plans. It can be confusing. When you look at The Lord of the Rings, you've got the elves, you've got the goblins, the orcs, you've got man, you've got hobbits, you've got a number of different groups. It's sort of the same within Dune. You've got mentats, people who take a lot of spice and can see into the future, they can plan, they can foresee what might happen given certain routes. You've got the Bene Gesserit, which is a religious order of sisters who plan to control the future by organising the lines, the breeding lines, if you like, of the different houses. You've got the Guild, which is the group of merchants who actually control all space flight, but depend on spice. You've got the Padishah Emperor, who has his own elite forces, the Sardaukar, who are feared throughout the universe because they will take over planets and destroy everybody within them. So there is a huge amount in this, but it is utterly, utterly compelling. Once you start reading it, you cannot put it down. Now, it has to be said that when you have success with a book, I imagine, the next thing you've got to do is write a follow-up. So to Dune, which is quite a fat book, there was a follow-up, Dune Messiah. And then Children of Dune, and there were more books after that. But for my money, the one that really stands out is Dune. Dune Messiah was okay, Children and so on were okay, but this is the one that really drew you into the story. This is the Lord of the Rings, these are the Silmarillion and others. This is the one that really drags you into the book. Can't recommend that book highly enough. Frank Herbert, why is he inspirational? I think he's inspirational because the depth and breadth of his imagination creating that story is just staggering. They did make a film of it once. It was, I think, really quite good, but it bombed in the cinema, sadly. But I think that the trouble with the film was that if you hadn't read the book already, it would be very difficult to make sense of a lot of the concepts. When you see the film having read the book, it's much, much more rounded and well presented. But as I say, the trouble is that you need to read the book first, really. So there you go. That is it. If you haven't read science fiction before, if you liked the Game of Thrones, if you like Lord of the Rings, try Frank Herbert's Dune, because I think it's easily on a par or superior to almost all of them. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. If you liked that, go down there and you'll see that there's somewhere to click if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to know about future videos coming out. Add any comments you want down the bottom, and if you're interested in my videos and my writing, hit the other thing, which is a link through to Patreon. Go to Patreon and see if you want to join in on that project as well. And apart from that, thanks very much for watching. Take care. Cheers.